Nick Huba, who covers the casino game over for the Press of Atlantic City, says the Atlantic City is in great position to take advantage of sports betting. We've heard this before, Nick. Why should we believe that this time things may be different?
Biggest reason, they got it to Supreme Court. That's the biggest reason. And if they take a case, usually, I think I said in the story, 80% of them get overturned. So I think that's why optimism is so high. And to the point, if you read the story, I think different properties around the city have already started looking for locations for sports books inside the property. So and we also, don't forget, we have a president that was a former casino owner. We have teams in Las Vegas. So it's all a natural progression. That's why I think everyone is just so excited to get this finally, hopefully.
All right, so for people who just kind of written this off over the years, saying it's never happening, why has it failed to get this far in the past?
Well, the appeals courts kept shooting New Jersey's pleas down, and, it finally took this turn for the Supreme Court to basically go, all right, we'll take a listen to it and try to overturn PASPA, which is like this arcane 25-year-old law that forbids basically sports betting outside of Nevada.
This goes back to what, the 92 federal law? I think you wrote about that in
the
the piece?
the 92 federal law basically banning all betting on sporting events outside the state of Nevada. For years they've basically made hundreds of millions of dollars because of sports betting. And, we're at a point in time, like, if you don't have it legalized, people are going to do it anyway. And I think states with the economies the way they are in different states see this as a gold mine for tax revenue too. This is not because we all agree that sports betting should be legal. This is an economics issue, basically. States need dollars to fund programs. What's kind of one of the ones that's left? Sports betting.
Nick Huba, Press of Atlantic City. So what would they estimate bringing sports betting to Atlantic City? We know it's been tough over there. It seems like things are coming around. You got the Stockton. There's some good reports out there regarding some new businesses that could be coming to the area. It seems like things are on the up and up in the city, but what would this do?
This would, for one, Oxford did a report on this, and basically in the state of New Jersey, the economic impact would be $723 million. It would roughly support 3,000 jobs, more than 3,000 jobs. And the biggest number, which the people that are making the decisions care about, is tax impacts. It would generate $173 million in tax revenue. That's why we're here. That number right there, $173 million, a state that's in financial trouble like New Jersey, that's too much money to turn down.
So what has New Jersey been fighting, and what are they fighting here? What is their case that makes people feel like this is – I know you mentioned some of the particulars about why this sounds like it could work, but what are some of the things they're fighting that might be still a roadblock?
Well, casino gaming naturally is regulated by the states, and this is a state sovereignty case. This case could happen for anything from like electronic cars to assisted suicide, but it happens to be sports betting. People don't, since casino gaming is regulated at the state level, why should sports betting be regulated at the federal level? And that's the case they're making. It's a classic states' rights issue. Should the federal government control sports betting? I don't think they're in the position to start a department of sports betting, But that's where this case basically is, and I think the Supreme Court looks at it that way, as a states' right. I don't think they look at it as a sports betting case. They look at it more of a states' rights issue.
Nick, you have a quote from Jeff Freeman. He's the president and CEO of the American Gaming Association. He said Atlantic City is in one of the best positions to act quickly and take advantage of this. Why does he feel that they're in a good spot right now?
Because they're the one pushing the case, and they pushed for this for decades now, and they have the legislation ready to go. Basically, if the high court overturns it, guess what? They'll run to Trenton, push the legislation through. It'll be on the governor's desk, whoever that is, Phil Murphy, Kim Guadagno. They'll sign it, and we could be operating. I think it's a little, I think we could be operating by the start of next football season. I don't think we're going to get it before the Super Bowl. I think that's a little fast.
Right, you're right. It's a long shot this year, but come 2018. So when is this all potentially up for discussion?
They're going to hear
it
over
the court.
During the fall coming up, and they usually take a little while to rule. So you're talking probably, could you get it before the Super Bowl? I don't think so. That would be kind of the time period. Maybe they'd rule, but you have to rush really quick. And I don't know if maybe you wait. You just wait it out until next year and see where we can go. But I think we'll know something by the end of the year.
Nick Huba is the casino reporter for the Press of Atlantic City. So let me ask you this. If this were to happen, you got a lot of vacant buildings over there. Are people coming back to try to open those buildings back up? Your opinion?
No, I think those buildings are let's just say some of those buildings will be reopened as casinos, like Hard Rock will take over Taj. That'll be natural. They'll probably have a sports book. Revel, something will happen there eventually. I don't think people are rushing to buy the Plaza and the Atlantic Club to open a sports book. I think if you're in the gaming industry, this is just another source of revenue for you. They've been really successful with internet gaming in the city, these companies, and this is just another revenue stream for them at low overhead because all the infrastructure is already in place, basically. So they're going to be printing their own money in a way.
How much of Vegas is income on sport? Like, is that the main source of their gambling money that comes in from sport?
No, the main source is still table games and slots. Mm-hmm. It's a major part of it. I don't know if I referenced in the story. I think it is a percentage. It's probably a quarter.
But that has to do with the fact that they attract that many tourists to do the sports gambling that then end up staying there to do other things.
Correct. That's one of the things, like, before people think that the city is going to be, like, paved in gold coming up when this is all overturned. Don't forget, there's a notion that's going to, oh, my God, the city's going to come back and it's going to be great and, we're going to be in the 1985 again with these great buildings. Everyone's going to get a shot at it. It's not just Atlantic City. So, like, Pennsylvania will get a shot at it, their places, New York. So while it'll draw people in, people aren't going to be rushing to Atlantic City because that's the only place they can place a bet. So I think
Go ahead. No, I was going to say your opinion then, or if you talk to people, the downside would be what? Like the fact that what are people's objections to this? If you just take the law out of it, are there people that say, you know what, I'm still not sure we want to do this or whether it would help?
There's a moral tendency to do that. Some think it'll promote more underage gambling, which I totally disagree with because people are betting on sports no matter what. With $5 pools at work and stuff like that. I don't see a real downside to it. The only thing that it's going to be is the days of the city having a monopoly on anything, including gaming and now sports betting, they're not going to happen. So everyone's going to be able to go to their local, if they're from Pennsylvania, go to Sands Bethlehem if they decide to go in that direction. You go up to New York, you go to the Yonkers Racetrack Casino. You're going to have other options besides the city, and that's why I think it'll be a really good revenue stream, but it's not going to be this huge, it's not going to be like resorts when casinos first came to the city where there are lines all over the place.
So this is, in your opinion, the closest they've been and the most realistic shot right now?
Yeah, I think this is, let's be honest, there's the stigma of gaming is gone. People don't look at it as a dirty deed anymore, let's just say. And we have a court that took the case. And when they take cases, they usually it's 80-20, some people say. So you have a realistic shot of having it overturned. And you know what? We have Jeff Freeman even said this in another story when I was talking to him. Gambling's not a big deal anymore. If the NFL and the NHL can put teams in Vegas, why not allow sports betting?
Check out the piece, pressofatlanticcity.com, and follow Nick on Twitter at ACPressHuba, Huba. He's the casino reporter. The piece on sports gambling potentially coming to Atlantic City and sooner than later. Check it out. Thanks, Nick.